Well, hey there, folks. This pertains to the Jeep JK here, but it also pertains to a lot of Chrysler vehicles because they all have the same crappy part on them. So this may work for you if you're getting that EVAP code. So my code happened to be P0455. There's a few others it can throw to, but so basically it says it has an EVAP leak. You can get a code for a small EVAP leak, a big EVAP leak. In my case, I'll show you what the problem was, but let me show you what you should check first. So the number one thing you should check, because it's obviously the cheapest and the easiest, is your fuel cap right here. So you want to make sure the surface is clean. You want to make sure your O-ring is good here. It's not cracked or dried out. And as you can see, I just put a little bit of silicone grease on there. If your cap's original, it's not going to hurt to run up and buy another cap. It's pretty cheap. But usually if that O-ring's good and the surface is good, you're usually okay. That's the first thing you should check. Okay, now we're under the Jeep. We're right in front of the rear axle where the gas tank is. Here's the next thing you want to check. See this line right here? Goes on top of your fill tank. Mine's fine, it's not broken, but a lot of these break where that plugs in right there. That white plastic nipple coming out of the top of the fuel tank will actually break off. And it'll break off because it's not secured like somebody did here with zip ties. It can break. That can cause an EVAP leak. So that right there is the second thing you should check for. Make sure that's good and tight up there. While you're here, go ahead and check all the other lines on top of the tank up here. You want to check all these EVAP lines here. Make sure they're tight. Make sure they're not broken, not cracked, anything like that. You've also got some up there on the front of the tank. Basically, you want to check everything all the way up to the engine compartment. Make sure all these hoses are good and intact. So I'm not going to show it, but under the hood, in front of your battery, there's an EVAP line. An EVAP line, something like this. And it can potentially rub on your battery and get a little pinhole in it. I didn't have that problem, but I see a lot of people report they did have that problem. And they say their hose is like a textured rubber hose. Mine wasn't. It was a regular hard EVAP line. But that's something worth checking as well. Then we have this little guy here. This is the EVAP, I don't know, integrity module or self-check module, or it has several different names, but here's your charcoal canister right underneath your vehicle in front of the rear axle. There's the rear axle right here. This little guy here goes bad quite often, and I did check mine electrically and it was bad. So you have an EVAP line right here. This will simply come off of there. If it's tight, you can't pull it off, just get a little screwdriver in here and work it loose. It'll come off. Got a plug right here, electrical plug. Push that clip in, it'll pull off of there. If you can't get it off, take this little module off of here first, and then you can have better access to it. To get this off, there's this clip right here, this little tab. All you simply do, I'm trying to hold this light, push it this way towards the white module, the back of the vehicle. You can see, it just keeps it from coming loose. Once you get it off, and once you push that this way, this will rotate this way. The bottom towards the driver's side of the vehicle, it'll rotate and you can pull it straight out. Inside of there's an O-ring. I'll show you that in a minute. Sometimes the O-ring can dry out and it can leak there. You can buy a new O-ring, or you could simply pull it out and put a little bit of silicone grease on it and put it back in there if you want to try that. This module fails quite a bit. It's got a little electrical coil in there that controls the little valve in there. This is all of a like $33 part at AutoZone, O'Reilly, Amazon, eBay. Very cheap part. So just put a new O-ring in there, put it back in there, turn it, locks in, and in my case I was good to go. Alright folks, here's the old module. Here's this little piece you push. Simply just push it in and it releases it. See how it locks in there with those 4 tabs? Just like a headlight. Turn it, pulls right out. Here's this O-ring. In my case the O-ring was fine. You can see I tried putting a little silicone grease on it before I actually electrically tested it. That wasn't a problem, but that's what that looks like. Really nothing to it. I did test this electrically and it didn't click, didn't move the little, I don't know if you'd call that a pintle or what you'd call it in there, but it didn't move. And then I checked it, I went ahead and did a continuity test and it had absolutely nothing, so that tells me that coil in there is shot. Very cheap part. So that's that. And I said I wouldn't show you under the hood, but let's pop the hood and I'll show you that little line I'm talking about under there. By the way, folks, if your hood on your JK flutters when you're driving down the road when it's windy, highly recommend these Daystar new rubbers here. See, they give you hardware. Your hood will never flutter again. Alright folks, mine's an 08, so I've got the 3.8 liter V6. I'm not sure if the 3.6, the 2012 and up's the same or not, the Pentastar. For what I've seen online, it probably is, I'm guessing. But anyways, not sure. So here's this evap line right here. And as you can see, it's kind of close to the battery. And it can potentially rub and get a pinhole in there. So just check that. So that's something to check for. The other thing that's supposedly pretty common is this. I'm not sure if this is a self-check or if this is a purge solenoid. I'm not exactly sure. Mine wasn't bad. But right here, super easy to access. You have an electrical plug. You have a quick disconnect there. And you have another disconnect on the bottom there. But this is another part that apparently commonly fails. You can check it electrically. You can take it off the vehicle. You can apply voltage to it. And you can blow through it, see if it turns on and off. So that's something to check for as well. And other than that, just make sure all your evap lines like this here running up there to the intake is all good and in place. And that's pretty much it. Just check all your lines, make sure there's no breaks, any leaks. Now, if this hasn't worked for you at this point, now just don't go throwing money. That's not what I'm telling you. You can check this electrically with 12 volts. You can check the little module under there on the evap canister with 12 volts off the vehicle. Verify if it works. If you do have like a fancy OBD2 scanner with bi-directional controls and all that, you can check all that right on your scanner. Most people don't have that. At least not most do-it-yourselfers, unless you're a mechanic who does it for a living. Also, you can buy a smoke machine. You can hook it up to an evap line and it'll run smoke through the system, and you can look for a leak. Wherever you see the smoke coming out, that's your evap leak. Those are traditionally around $2,000 for a professional, automotive shop. However, you guys can buy them on eBay and Amazon. I've seen one on Amazon. It's very highly rated, about $110. Free shipping. It'll do it. It'll smoke your evap system. You'll be able to find a leak. So for $110, you'll have that tool, and you can use it on multiple vehicles for a long time to come. And that'll be less than taking it to a shop and probably having it diagnosed, or at least about the same amount. So I just buy one of those and have it. Anyways, folks, hope this helps somebody. Like I say, in my case, it was that little self-check or whatever evap integrity monitoring dilly on the evap canister under the vehicle. So since they apparently go bad so often, I saw no reason to buy a genuine Mopar one. There you go. Just from my local O'Reilly's. There you go. There's the part number right there. LDP14. I can't believe it. It's made in the USA. Imagine that. And just standard products. It was $33, and they actually had it in stock. All right, folks. Thanks for watching. Yeah, I'll be good out there. We'll catch you next time.